How many potheads we have?
Right here. That's why I'm here.
That's why you're here, huh?
Yes.
Yeah. So next time, how did you become a pothead? Oh, hold on, I'm sorry.
Here comes my story.
Is this your first time here?
Yes, this is my first time
How
here.
did you find us?
So grateful to be here.
I'm glad you're here.
This is about a year and a half just on YouTube.
Right on. And so, how did you become a pothead?
I started smoking weed at 12 years old.
Wow.
And I pretty much smoke weed almost every day for all those years until today, still smoking hard. And the reason why I came out here was because a conversation with my brother that I had, and he and I were talking about getting sober, and we missed the Sober October, so we decided, let's do something November 1st and just work on, you know, smoking weed, not smoking weed until Thanksgiving, you know, and so.
So you said that on the 1st of October, you guys are not going to smoke pot?
No. The first, well, October passed. We had this conversation like a week ago.
Oh,
so
okay.
Starting November, because we were like, man, we missed October, Sober October, you know? So then the conversation became, well, let's see what we can do the 1st of November.
I totally understand that.
So my brother and I kind of put a pact together, and we say, okay, let's do it, starting November 1st.
So November 1, you're not going to smoke pot?
Yes, I'm not going to.
Amazing. Anybody believe that she's not going to smoke?
Right? If you want to bet, if you're a betting person, this is a good one.
When I was in that father state, I used to tell myself things like that. I'm not going to have sex this week. It was my greatest week for sex. I just had sex all the way through the week. Sometimes twice on Sundays, right? Here's what I first recommend. From this day forward, never, ever, 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 but never, ever, ever, as long as you walk this earth, tell yourself you're not going to do it. Because you set yourself up to go nuts over it. Yeah. Because you're playing God. You're acting like you have control of your life, that you can make these things happen, and you can't. And so it's a setup. Do not make that promise. Just know that you want to stop.
Yeah.
All right? But don't judge yourself for it. Don't have an opinion about it. You know what? I smoke pot. I don't want to do it, but I'm doing it. Yeah. Right? And don't be mad about it. Don't call it good or evil. But when you light up the joint, let me see. Let me do it. Let me see. I used to smoke pot, so I know how you do it.
I use the blunt wrapper.
So you do it like this.
Sounds about right. That's about right.
And then you smell it. So, and then like already in your mind, you're already into this, right? Like, this is going to be good. This is some strong stuff. This is made from the earth.
Yeah.
God made this pot. So in your mind, you're already into it, right?
Yeah.
But here's what I recommend. Next time you fire up, just kind of look at it. Don't be already into it. And just kind of watch yourself smoking it. Watch yourself smoking and watch the smoke coming. It'll change everything. Just the observation of it, which is from God, would cause you to lose the appetite for it.
I would say that I've had in a moment where I've sat there, I've looked at it, and actually it ends up being like, wow, this is really good. It just turns like when I self-observe, it like
right, but when that happens, no big deal. You just realize, you know what, I'm loving this too much.
Yeah, I am. I end up loving it too much.
But don't hate it.
No.
I mean, don't hate yourself for it.
Yeah.
But here's the way to really overcome it, because the pot is not the problem. It's your anger that's the problem. You're falling away from God, and so you're reaching out to the world for something to make you feel better, to get rid of the guilt, to make you feel better about yourself, right? And so the pot is not the answer, and the pot is not the problem. You got to forgive. You got to overcome your anger, because you only have hatred in your heart and no love. Satan is your father, and he's trying to destroy you. So you need to go and drop your anger, and then all these bad habits, because the sin is not the pot. The sin is the judgment, your pride, your anger. And the pride separates you from God to be your own God. You need to go and forgive. That make sense?
Yes.
Who are you angry at?
My boyfriend.
And why?
Well, Yeah, hold on.
That's all right. No, it's okay. Be yourself here.
We've been together 15 years, and, you know, we're still boyfriend and girlfriend, you know, and we have a son together. And I don't know, I think the thing that I'm most angry about is just we could have accomplished a lot more if we didn't smoke weed.
Yeah.
You know, if we built a relationship on smoking weed, and I see myself 15 years now. And I mean, we've accomplished a lot, not that we've been, you know, not accomplishing.
Right.
But then I kind of look at like a chart, you know, and I could see potential, and I could see where I'm at. And I'm not at my potential. I mean, I could be doing so much more. We, as a family, we could be attending and doing things. I invited them to come today, and they didn't come. He didn't come.
Yeah.
And just that.
Why, you live with him?
Yes, we live together.
Why are you living with him?
Why I'm living with them? I think it's a lot of like, well, first of all, why not? I mean, we've been together, we sort of been together, and we've never left each other's side. You know, kind of just connected and never left each other. And so we've been together because I don't have a good answer. Like, I don't know how to answer that.
Have you ever wondered, why am I with this guy?
Often I'll
And what do you
wonder,
come up with?
But I think I'm with him because I think I'm afraid, like I codependent. I need to, you know, I want to be with him. I think he's, I know why I'm with him. I know why I'm with him. I remember. Protection. No, I know why I'm with him. It's because of protection. Because
protection from what?
I feel he's strong man. He's a strong black man, and he, you know, knows martial arts, very strong.
What's your race?
Me, I'm born here in the United States, but my mother is Costa Rican and my father's Argentinian.
Oh, okay. And so you were a strong black man.
And he's very strong. And he's strong in character. Like, there's a lot of great qualities about him. I mean, I see the acts that I see that he does. In my opinion, I don't see many people do things like that. Like, help, you know, elderly ladies with their house and fixing things and stuff like that. Like, and sometimes won't even charge people, you know. So he has a really amazing heart. So that's why I'm with him. And also the protection, because I at a young age, I got a lot of things happen to me. And
you were not close to your father growing up?
Actually, interesting story. I was very close to my father. Actually, my father I was the apple of his eye. I was everything to him.
Well, why didn't he protect you?
Because at age 12, around like 11, 12, my mom took me to Costa Rica. She took me out of the country and told me at the airport, we're going to Costa Rica and we're living there. So I was raised in Costa Rica, and while I was in Costa Rica, I had a burglary come, and they broke in and they beat me up and stabbed me and left me for dead under a bed.
Wow.
So, and I was, you know, alone at that time because my mom didn't have anybody. It was just me and my mom. So and then that wasn't like the first time things happened to me. I mean, I've been hit by a car. I've been had 3 suicide attempts. I had just an amazing like life of like just trouble. And so when I met, sorry, I didn't mean to say his name. What? When I met my boyfriend, he was such a protector, and he was solid, and he had an apartment, and I knew I could, you know, live with him and build something with him, and we built something together.
Before I say what I have to say about it, this young lady want to give you some advice. What would you recommend to her? Take the mic behind you. She's like, do I really? This your first time here too?
Yes, this is my first time here.
Welcome. So if you were walking down the road of Costa Rica and you ran into her, and she told you that story she just told you, what would you recommend for her?
I would recommend to control your narrative, understand that your past doesn't determine your future. So everybody in this room has or knows somebody who has stories like that. And every day it's about controlling your narrative and knowing that it doesn't matter. Every day, everything you do is a choice. You chose to be here. You choose to go to work. You choose the person you live with. You choose everything. You choose to have a relationship with your mother. You choose to have a relationship with your father. Everything we do every day is a choice. And our past does not determine our future.
Where's your father now?
He passed away.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Yeah, I was grateful to be able to take care of him when he passed away. He had cancer, and I ended up at 19 moving back to the United States.
Yeah.
And he helped me. Like, I went back to my father, and he helped me. He got me a GED. He, you know, really got me on a good path. And then he passed away, and when he passed away, I moved back with my mom.
Oh, okay. One other person wanted to tell you something. What would you recommend?
I don't know what I mean, I have a comment to what you said about that your boyfriend is a good man. This is not judgment, because I don't know you or your boyfriend personally, but it's judgment out of love. Is, to me, I think that's probably where it's rooted at, because you have too many expectations for him. Because personally, to me, that doesn't sound like a real man. Excuse me. Because he needs to be the example for you and your child. So if he's not living by example, for example, he's smoking weed with you, to me, that's not an example of a real man. So you're obviously not happy. So you obviously don't feel protected.
What do you think about that? That ahead of my,
I think I could see the truth.
I'm sorry?
I could see the truth in that.
Yeah. Your boyfriend is a beta male. He's not a good man. He's weak. And the fact that he would live with you and not marry you, he doesn't love you. He's using you. You women should not have sex with men that they're not married to. They should not live with men they're not married to, because those men are weak men, and they're looking for a mama. And you are his mother. And the fact that he's doing all this work and all that, he's just weak. And that's why he's not charging. He's trying to get along with people so that, because he doesn't know how to deal with them. I would highly recommend that you move out of there and get a job, not just rush out, but get a job, get your own place, and have this standard where no man is going to cross this line unless he marry you. Otherwise, because you can't trust a man that live with you and sleep with you or have sex with you. If a man sleep with you before marriage, he's going to cheat on you after marriage, because he doesn't have self-control. He's not a good man. He's a weak man. I recommend you forgive your mother for taking you away from your father.
I had a really strong conversation with her about like a year and a half, and it was natural. It wasn't like because I saw the show or anything. Actually, It was before I saw the show, maybe 2 years.
Yeah.
But I did have a conversation with my mom, and for many years I bit my nails, and they always said it was a sign of resentment of your mother.
Yes.
And ever since I stopped, I just forgave her. I forgave it. I don't know how to explain it, but at that moment I just let it all out. I let her know. She was grateful enough to take on responsibility for a lot of what happened. And ever since then, my nails have grown.
Right on.
I don't bite my nails anymore.
So now you have to get away from this beta male. And it's not his fault. It's your fault that you're with him. You're an adult, and you agreed to that. So don't blame him for it. You have to take responsibility for yourself, because if you didn't allow that to happen, it would not have happened.
I have a question on that then.
Yes.
So when you talk about, when you have conversations about like the child and the mother, and that the mother kind of can devour the child, without the absence of the father.
Right.
I could see that happen easily in my house. I could see myself devouring my son, if it's not for his dad that steps in the way, that pushes me. So how do I reconcile that? By
forgiving him and just letting go of all your anger, right? And so the same love that worked through men from God will work through you, because you don't have a husband. And so you need to go straight to the Father yourself. You can't rely on him. So if you forgive this boyfriend for being weak, don't resent him, he can't help it, then God, and then you and your son go and get your place and be with him, but don't keep your son away from him. Let him have, don't hate the father and all that stuff, right? And God will work through you, he'll guide you so that you don't destroy your son, because you have perfect love.
Do you think there's ever hope to see that he is there ever hope that he
Well, you could hope that for him, wish him well, but it's up to him. Don't try to make him be that way. Don't try to, you know how women try to change men? I want you to be that way, so they try to create men in their image or the way they think he should be. Don't play God with him. That's up to him. You just let all the anger go so the love of God could work through you for you and your son. And this young lady is right. You've been through a lot. And so God has kept you alive for some reason, right? So he loves you. You just need to drop all the rage and start living upright, and it'll be fine. But you cannot live in this condition and have peace. It's not going to work. Because right now you're in hell. When men and women live together, they're living in hell. And so you got to overcome that hell. That makes sense?
Very much. Thank you very much.
Do you have a job?
Yes, I do. I had a really good job. This is going to be funny. I had a really good job, and I gave it up, and I quit it because I wanted to because I was the one, I was making primarily the income, and I wanted to put the man above me because that was a concept new to me. And so I decided, you know what, I can't be the bread maker anymore. I can't be the one paying the bills. So I quit my job, and I put a situation in which I wasn't the bread maker anymore.
Amazing.
And he now is the bread maker, and
you guys don't have much bread.
And now I don't have very much bread, so I have a little. And actually, I ended up having to take like a little part-time job, and so I do a little part-time job.
No,
but I make a half of what I used to make before, and that's my situation.
Get your life back. All right, get rid of this guy. All right. I can't hear you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And so are you doing my silent prayer?
I will be doing it.
Yeah, make sure you start today. God is with you. He really is. That's why you ended up here.
Mm-hmm, yes.
So forgive him. He literally cannot help himself. He's a mama's boy. And you're his mama. He's attracted to what he hates. Men always end up women that are mama to them. That's why when they get into these relationships, they become the boy, and the woman become the mother. So, but you can't help it because it's in that fallen state. So don't hold any grudges against him, and don't keep his son away from him, but just don't hate him. Don't you hate him, and everything will be fine. All right?
Thank you.
And the last thing, don't have any more sex with him. Okay. She's not going to have sex with you, Leroy. And the reason I say that because when you have sex out of wedlock, even when you're married, you get into it emotionally, but you have a way out through Christ, right? But when you have sex and you're not married, you're in hell, emotionally attached to one another, ego running crazy, thinking that you can make him the head. A woman cannot make the man the head. If the woman make the man the head, then she's the God maker. So whenever she's ready to take the head down, she'll take it down.
Yeah, which is the case.
Yeah.
Which is the case in my home. It's true.
Yes, that's right. Only God has done that. He's already done it that way. And it's the man's responsibility to return to God so that he can be the head of his wife and children. All right? So don't have sex with him anymore. So you can have the strength to get out of there. Okay. That makes sense?
Yes.
And if you need counseling, let us know.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you.
Right on. But make sure you do the silent prayer. Do the prayer no matter what, even if you happen to have sex, because I think you will. You don't look like you're about to stop having sex. But don't judge yourself.
Yes.
Just know I should not be doing this. All right? But don't judge yourself for it. But stay with the prayer, and things will automatically start to change for you. All right?
Thank you very much.
Okay. Amazing. You're a good lady, so relax. God is with you. You're going to be just fine. He really is.